I don't know how good my aunt is when I'm young. Mistaking a girl for a treasure. When everyone else is going to pursue the high cold school flower. But you threw yourself into the arms of your aunt. Auntie will not treat you badly. Then this is my supplementary gold card. It is possible to overdraft by millions. You take it and spend it as you like. However, the beautiful rich woman in front of her is none other than her. It's your mother's best friend. You know that you are born again. Jing Yanru will commit suicide because she was cheated of money and sex by a scumbag. Your mother also suffered from severe depression as a result. And for you, Jing Yanru is not just your aunt. It is the white moonlight in your heart. Although the difference between the two is more than 10 years. But from the first sight of seeing Jing Yanru, you're intrigued. Relive a lifetime. You must stop this tragedy from happening. You're out of breath at this point. Rushed into the cafe where Young Yanru was on a blind date. Jing Yi must not go on a blind date with him. Jing Yanru, who is on a blind date, stares straight at you. His eyes were full of astonishment. Jing Yi, if you are really in a hurry to get married, then he'll marry you. Marry me. And the man saw that you were dragging Jing Yanru to leave. Immediately stood up and stood in front of him. You look at this in a past life. The man who brought pain to Jing Yi indifferently said yes, yes. Don't pretend to be your scumbag. With that, you take your phone out of your pocket. After opening the album, he handed the phone to Jing Yanru. Look at one of the pictures inside. Jing Yanru's brows furrowed slightly. Said Xiao Cheng with a gloomy face. Let's go. Jing Yanru sat in the car. Look at you in the passenger seat. Confused, Xiao Cheng asked with a hint of curiosity. How do you know he's a scumbag? You don't know how to explain it for a while. You can't tell Zheng Yi that she is a reborn. So you choreographed and directed. I had a female friend who was cheated on by him. Used rhetoric to make people's stomachs bigger. As a result, he turned his head and dumped others. So listen to my mom. You're on a blind date. The description of the blind date is exactly the same as that scumbag. I rushed over immediately. Jing Yanru responded. For the scumbag who went on a blind date today, he didn't take it to heart. On the contrary, my best friend's son's sentence, I will marry you, make him somewhat understandable. Instead of marrying those stinky men outside, it's better to find you Xiao Cheng next to you. At least I still know her roots. However, this absurd idea only existed for a moment. Was pressed back to the deepest part of her heart by Jing Yanru. Xiao Cheng is Sister Fang Fang's own son. Sister Fang Fang and I are like sisters again. If I marry Xiao Cheng, Sister Fang Fang will definitely collapse. Xiao Cheng, what did you mean by that just now? Just looking at you. Raise your hand and point at your head. You don't have a good aura and want to marry me. You smile awkwardly. Whining replied, I'm afraid. I'm afraid you're in a hurry to get married. Do something impulsive. My mother said that you were forced to marry by your family these days. All gave you an ultimatum. So Jing Yanru pursed her lips. He replied with a whisper. Don't worry, I'm not an impulsive woman. Well, you're a sane woman. Jing Yanru glanced at you. I just wanted to speak. Suddenly, the phone rings. Look at the notes displayed on your phone screen. It's definitely here to urge marriage. She couldn't help but frown. You sit and I'm going to answer the phone. After a quarrel with his own mother, she returned to the car. Glancing at his best friend's son, a bold idea came to mind. Sister Fang Fang, I'm sorry. Sister, I'm going to borrow your son for a while. Jing Yanru bit her lip. Asked softly. Xiao Cheng, you said you want to marry me. Does that still count? Ah, is this so sudden? Soon you come to your senses from the shock. Nodded at Jing Yanru again and again. It always counts. Jing Yanru bit her lip lightly. There was a hint of solidity in his eyes. I'll see you at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau at 2 p.m. Remember to bring your ID card and household registration booklet. You nodded obediently. Muffled didn't want to sit there. It's still a little buzzing in my head. For a while, the atmosphere in the car was a little awkward. Both of them remained silent with tacit understanding. Jing Yanru after a short period of calm. A strong sense of shame ensues. I'm going to have a son with my best friend. Go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a marriage certificate. He suddenly felt a little tempted to repent. But take into account your actual situation. I had to do it again. Think about it. Jing Yanru still chose to get the certificate. In her eyes, Your mother is a woman who understands righteousness. I should be able to understand my sister's distress. And only for the time being. Wait until it's over. You can divorce him yourself. If he wants to. Xiao Qingzheng doesn't really want to marry you. It is to cope with the forced marriage at home. Zheng Yanru pursed her lips. Explained in a whisper. Wait until it's over. We can get a divorce. Of course, I know it's not fair to you. Let you bear the title of divorce for no reason. Don't worry, Zheng Yi won't treat you badly. Actually, you've already guessed that. There are no surprises in this. Nan Nan said. My mom and I had the most difficult time. You helped our family through this. So there is no such thing as a debt or a debt. It's different, Zheng Yanru shook his head. I've hurt you. Actually, nothing. Divorced men are quite popular these days. You smiled. Replied nonchalantly. But the heart is big. In short, justice will not let you be wronged. You shrugged. I don't care. Then he'll send you back now. Zheng Yanru pursed her lips lightly. Said like a kiss. I don't have to take a taxi myself. Wait a minute, just as you're about to get out of the car. Zheng Yanru suddenly stopped. Don't let your mom send it. Now I know. Zheng Yanru closes the car door. Go straight in a certain direction. Zheng Yanru looked at your departing back from the rearview mirror. The eyes gradually began to blur. There was a touch of bitterness between the eyebrows. When you get home. In the bedroom there are all kinds of rum-mag cabinets. As a result, I couldn't find the red cloth. Just when you're anxious. There was a sound of the door opening. Ching Ching, what are you doing in your mother's room? Mom's household registration booklet. You ask hurriedly. What do you want your household register for? Your mom frowned. Slightly wary glaring at you. I'll tell you. Our family has finally lived a happy life. You're that old and your dad is dead. Mom grew up feeding you a handful of and urine. I didn't think about doing anything bad. Listen to my mother's nagging. Your heart is warm. It's just that the way of speaking is a little hard to accept. What is called a handful of and a handful of urine fed big? Co-authored I have been eating and urine since I was a child. You hesitate for a moment. Excuses quickly came to mind. Didn't I just graduate with a master's degree? I'm going to do another PhD. Give yourself a little more competitiveness. Well, you can have such an awareness. Mom was really pleased. After that, your mother got up and went back to her room. A moment later, he came out with the household registration book. You don't have a second of lingering when you get the hookah booklet. Betake oneself to one's heels. Monk, your mother goes back to the couch. Hey, why did you suddenly get a little flustered? The other side. Zhenjianra waited at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau early. At this time, she was nervous and a little scared. I'm nervous that I'm going to get a certificate with my best friend's son. I was afraid that my best friend's son would run away temporarily. In fear and unease. Suddenly, I saw a familiar figure walking slowly. Zheng Yi is embarrassed. Keeping you waiting. You walked to Zheng Yanra's side. Said apologetically. It's okay. I've just arrived, too. Zheng Yanru bit her lip lightly. Muttered quietly. Walk around. Let's go get a marriage license. Compared to the happy smiles on the faces of other couples. You and Zheng Yanru are a little different. There was a hint of trepidation and knownness in his calm expression. And a little hesitation. When taking a wedding photo. It's not like you two can't go together. It's just expressionless. Finally tossed for a long time. The wedding photos were taken. When the two finished taking pictures. I hurriedly came to the marriage registration window. After the staff has checked the information. I gave you a table. Zheng Yanru holds the pen. Fill in the above content carefully. Until the end of the day, when you have to write your name. She stopped her pen. Out of the corner of his eye, he quietly aimed at you beside him. But I didn't expect you to be secretly watching her. Zheng Yanru was stunned. I suddenly felt a wave of embarrassment. A strong sense of shame gushed from the bottom of my heart. After each of them has handed in that form. You and Zheng Yanru sat there quietly. Now. The picture of the two does not look like they are here to register their marriage. It's more like him here for a divorce. Congratulations to both of you. The staff sent their blessings. Meantime. Hand over 2 marriage certificates that symbolize love and responsibility. Zheng Yanru got her own marriage certificate. Flip it open and look at the photo above. From today. Themselves on a legal level. Became became the wife of her best friend's son. My best friend became my mother-in-law. At first, I didn't have any ideas. After obtaining the marriage certificate, how to face the small town around you. I'm not going to call her husband anymore. When the word husband comes to mind, Jing Yanru's cold face instantly turned red. She has always regarded herself as an elder. All of a sudden, she became your wife. This made Jing Yanru unacceptable. And that's not the crux of the matter. The key lies in the girlfriend. Jing Yanru bit her lip tightly. A wave of remorse swept through the body. Feel special. I'm sorry. His best friend, Sister Fong Fong, regards herself as his own sister. As a result, he married his son backhanded. Then you leave the Civil Affairs Bureau. Back to Jing Yanru's car. There was still silence among themselves. For changes in identity and relationship between the parties. None of them were prepared accordingly. Jing Yanru asked first. Have you done your job? If not, come to work in my company. I'm going to gamble. You replied softly. Right in our local deep gamble. Jing Yanru knows that you are a super scholar. For this choice of yours. Deep down, I agree with it. He pursed his lips and said that if he usually encounters any difficulties, remember to contact me. Don't hide it. Subsequently, Jing Yanru took out a bank card from her bag. Hand it to you. This is my supplementary gold card. It is possible to overdraft by millions. You take it and spend it. Looking at the gold card handed over. You hesitate. If you don't take it, it'll become Chao Dahua. If you don't take it, you will live up to Zheng Yi's kindness. I'm not short of money. Moreover, there are also state subsidies for doctoral studies. You shake your head. There is no such amount of money in a year. That's enough for you to spend. The righteous words are like flattening the mouth. Forcibly shove the gold card into your arms. Do I want to buy you another car? It's also convenient to go to school or go home. Love Ferrari sports cars. Or a Mercedes-Benz off-road vehicle. Or how about I buy you a suite near Shenzhen University? Ah, is this rich woman's love so fierce? This sends a car and a house. I'm a little overwhelmed. You laugh awkwardly. Zheng Yi, I know what you're thinking. It doesn't have to be this way at all. Jing Yanru opened her mouth. As a result, I don't know how to say the words on my lips. Muttered, then let's do it first. Send you home. Jing Yanru turns her head to look at you. Don't just have anything else. Zheng Yi, go and get busy yourself. You open the door. Gentle laughter. I'm leaving. Didn't wait for the rich woman to react. You just got out of the car. She was still sitting in the car in a daze. It's a little bit unbelievable. Until now. He didn't accept the reality of his marriage. Not even more accepted. The fact that the best friend's son became his husband. Should I tell Sister Fong Fong? Zheng Jianru bit her lip. I kept thinking about it. Finally think about it. Or decided to tell my girlfriend. Because the marriage to his son must not be hidden. Rather than being discovered by him. It's better to take the initiative to confess yourself. At this time, your mother Chu Fong hurriedly came to the cafe. Find Jing Yanru sitting in the corner. He asked with a concerned face. What's wrong with the hurry? Something's going on. Sister, you sit first. Meet your best friend. It's also his own mother-in-law. Jing Yanru pursed her lips lightly. Said softly. I have something I want to tell you. What is the matter after Chu Fong sat down? Asked urgently. Jing Yanru bit her lip tightly. Zizi replied with a win. I've got my marriage certificate. What got a marriage certificate? Prescription's eyes widened. Look at him incredulously. After reacting. Asked anxiously. What the situation? Haven't you always been single? Why did you get a certificate all of a sudden? A man proposed to me. I was confused and agreed. I got my card with him this afternoon. Jing Yanru when he spoke. I can't help but drip down. Oh, hey, you're stupid. After Chu Fong listened to Jing Yanru's words. Was so angry that his facial features were distorted. Said angrily. You're too impulsive, too. It's about your lifelong happiness. Actually, I know him very well. Jing Yanru muttered. He has a good character. Handsome facial features. The family is innocent. In a way. He fits my criteria for a mate. That's it. Younger than me. The prescription was stunned. He looked at him suspiciously. Whispered. Listen to what you mean. You and this man seem to have been in contact all the time. Well, Jing Yanru nodded. Chu Fang, who was still a little angry, instantly changed into a person. He smiled angrily. Scared me. I thought you had found a strange man to be your husband. He's a few years younger than you. Chu Fang asked with a gossipy face. 7-year-old Jing Yanru replied hesitantly. 7 years old. That's not my son's age. Chu Fang looked at his good sister with a wicked smile. Xiaoru, you can really do it. I actually ate tender grass. Found such a young man. Okay, good sister, I support you. Jing Yanru's face suddenly turned red to her neck. He bowed his head in embarrassment. My heart was filled with unspeakable shame. No. I can't tell him just yet. At least not yet. Originally, I was ready to confess. But it's not because of my best friend's words. He dispelled the idea again. As old as my son. The old cow also eats the tender grass. Right words at this moment. I felt both ashamed and helpless. Especially the feeling of being self-conscious. It almost crushed his nerves. Even let him get on top of the table. Pursed his lips. I want to refute 2 sentences. I don't know where to start. Hey, I don't usually see it. I didn't expect to reveal my true colors at a critical moment. The prescription smiled at the good sister. Ying Ying said. It's as small as that young man is very strong. It's pretty strong. Jing Yanru grabbed the armrests of the table and chair hard. Lower your head and whine. That's pretty much it. Say no more. Why is this shy? The prescription rolled his eyes. He smiled angrily. It's not something that can't be said. Not to mention the difference of 7 years. Even if there is a difference of 10 years and 20 years, what is it? Besides, you're so beautiful and capable. What's wrong with finding a young strong guy? Which law writes not allowed? The right word is like new. The law certainly allows it. But you may not allow it. For he is your son. Jing Yanru bit her lip. Said softly. I'm in a special situation. This man is no ordinary man. His relationship with me is not ordinary. Of course. I can marry you. It's certainly not an ordinary relationship. The prescription smiled slightly. Curiously asked. Can anyone reveal it? I hesitated for a long time. Said cautiously. He had just graduated from college. All I can tell you is this nonsense. My son also just graduated from college. Your husband is the same age as my son. Definitely just graduated from college. Hijikata pouted. Continue to ask. Say something valuable. For example. Where are you from? What's going on at home? What a job. Jing Yanru hesitated. He replied with a whisper. The conditions in the locals' homes are okay. I guess it's the middle class. As for work. He doesn't have a job at the moment. I plan to continue my studies. That's all I can say. Sister, don't ask again. Why are you so shy? Chu Fang rolled her eyes at her best friend again. Then he said with a smile. But then again. You find someone who is so much smaller than yourself. Actually, I'm not surprised. It's the same as going to the vegetable market to buy vegetables. Cucumbers, for example. If you pick, you have to pick the top flower with thorns. You know why? Jing Yanru, who had never bought vegetables, shook her head. Facing the words of his best friend. I don't understand it at all. Fresh water. Doesn't this have the same reason as you are looking for a little man? In an instant, Jing Yanru was about to go crazy. Sister Fang Fang is still like this. Speak always without a door. What tops the flowers with thorny cucumbers? What fresh and watery? This is something that a big girl with yellow flowers can listen to. Seeing that you have received a marriage certificate. My family's little orange prescription. Sighed. He began to look at his son. Muttered, Xiaoqing just graduated with a master's degree this year. As a result, he told me today that he was going to study for a doctorate. I've heard that you don't have until you are 30 years old to finish your PhD. Could it be that Xiaoqing can't get married until he is 30 years old? The words are as good as the heart. No, he's got the certificate with me now. Jing Yanru flattened her mouth. Muttered softly, Xiaoqing has already told me. He's going to get a PhD. I support his decision. As for marriage. Actually, there is no need to worry. A handsome lad like him. Sister, do you think your daughter-in-law will have none? Forget it, wooden fish head. I saw that Chu Fong pouted. Looked at Zheng Yanru, who was sitting opposite. Said earnestly. Xiaoru, do you have any suitable girls in your company? Zheng Yanru picked up the coffee. Take a small sip. Replied lightly, yes, yes. But I don't think it's worthy of Xiaocheng. Sister Xiaocheng is only 24 years old now. You're starting to worry about your daughter-in-law. Isn't it a little too early? So what to do? Everyone else is married to you at the age of 24. My son is 24 years old. Chu Fong muttered to himself with a helpless face. When will I become a grandmother? It will be. Zheng Yanru's expression was calm and calm. Sitting there dignified drinking coffee. But frequent purses of the lips exposed his heart at the moment. It didn't seem to have picked me off. Actually ignore me. What to do, I feel like I can't do it anymore. Zheng Yanru bit her lip tightly. The deepest secrets are silently buried in my heart. In the time that followed, the two sisters had a brief chat about some short things in the family. Until it's time to eat. Let's go to a nearby restaurant again. I called my son. Prescription, take out your phone. Dialed your phone directly. It was all over in a moment. Ching Cheng, where are you? I am righteous with you in the starry sky square. Why don't you come over for a meal? The prescription asked. So far away. That's it. You can take care of dinner yourself. Hang up. Chu Fong held his mobile phone, staring at the phone screen for a long time. There was contemplation written on his face. Sister, what's wrong with you? Zheng Yanru saw that her best friend had something on her mind. Asked with concern. It's a bit strange these days. Chu Fong replied thoughtfully. I go out early and return late every day. Ask her what she's doing. He didn't even tell me. She's grown up now. It's also normal to have your own privacy. Sister, don't worry about it so much. That's right. There was a pause. And then he continued. By the way, didn't you say you were going to buy a house for Xiaocheng? Have you chosen where to buy? Prescription sighed. No decision has been made yet. It's not good. Good and unaffordable. He'll talk about that later. Hearing this, Zheng Yanru's willow eyebrows raised slightly. I have a villa. Haven't lived in it since I bought it. It has been sitting idle. Do you want to sell it to you at a low price? Zheng Yanru said. Okay, the house you bought is definitely not bad. The prescription nodded repeatedly. How much it cost? 10 million when I bought it. I sell you 2 million. Zheng Yanru asked tentatively. The voice fell. Prescription looked at him dumbfounded. I can't believe my ears. Expensive that. That's 1 million. Righteousness is like pursing your lips. Said seriously. I'll send another Mercedes. How do I feel like you're a little weird? The prescription looked at him suspiciously. It's a car delivery again. It's for the house again. Did you do something sorry for me? Zheng Yanru's heart was fiercely blamed. He replied calmly in embarrassment. What can I do to be sorry for you? I'm just thinking about it for Little Orange. I'm his aunt after all. There's still something wrong with caring about him. With that, he picked up the teacup in front of him. Frequently sipped the tea in the cup. Well, that's right. Orange is really blessed to have an aunt like you. If you can. I want Orange to recognize you as a godmother. The voice fell. Ching drinking water. Yen Ru almost choked on her sister. I think that's good. Don't recognize your godmother. He'll just mention it casually. Chu Fong smiled. And then he said you. Put your mind on your man. Don't be so nice to Ching anymore. Be careful that your man knows that he is jealous. Zheng Yanru nodded. Didn't say much either. But deep down, there are layers of waves. What to do? Suddenly feel guilty. Sister Fong treats me as her own sister. But I quietly got a marriage certificate with her son. Forget it later. Chu Fong returned home. Then he called out to his son. Your Aunt Cheng has received the certificate. The other person is as big as you. Here. Your heart is shocked. Squirmed and sat down beside my mother. Asked Aunt Cheng in a low voice. Did you tell you who it was? He was tight-lipped. Don't say anything. I didn't ask. But it's quite gratifying. He finally figured it out. Although there is a suspicion of forced marriage in it. But at least the lifelong event was solved. With that, he turned his head to look. Then he pinched your thighs hard. When are you going to get married? It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, and it grins and begs for mercy. You let go first. It hurts me to death. The clerk let go of his hand. I'll tell you angrily. 27 years old at the latest. You have to marry me. Otherwise, let's stop the mother-son relationship. You have an idea. Shrunk his head. Cautiously asked, Mom. What does your daughter-in-law look like? You are very good at this. In the future, you will find a girlfriend according to your righteous template. Then I have a bold idea. Wait for Zheng Yi to get divorced. How about I marry Zheng Yi? As soon as the words fell, you're slapped on the back of the head. What do you kid think? Chu Fong glared at you. Said angrily. They have just received their marriage certificates. You're expecting someone to get a divorce. In addition, Zheng Yi is your aunt. You take her as your wife. What has come of this? Then are you my brother-in-law or my son? Seeing my mother, I was furious. You immediately admitted. Just kidding. How dare I hit Zheng Yi's idea? It seems that my mother is very concerned about me marrying her best friend. It should be quite repulsive. But I've already got my best friend and I got the certificate. I didn't know if she found out later. I'm not going to be killed. At this time, the mobile phone in the pocket vibrates. You take out your phone and take a look. There is a WeChat message just sent. I looked at the message sent by Zheng Yanru. You were confused for a while. What is she looking for me for? Could it be the rich woman's money again? Condolences to whom? Look at you holding your phone in a daze. The prescription probe sitting next to him poked his head out. You hold on to your phone. Didn't let him see the contents of his phone. The prescription couldn't help frowning. What is so unsightly? Even his own mother has to hide it. Not a single classmate. You stand up and walk into your bedroom. Leaving my mother alone on the sofa in the living room. There's a problem, there's definitely something wrong with this kid. The prescription smells a hint of love from you. If nothing else. It should be a message from a girl to Cheng Cheng. It is estimated that it is the content of affection and love. A satisfied smile at the thought of this prescription. Meanwhile, after you go back to your bedroom, reply to Zheng Yi's message. Is there anything wrong with Zheng Yi? After a while, Zheng Yiru sent a reply. In with your mom today. By the way, he told me about getting a marriage certificate. You have to keep it a secret. Don't let your mom find out. I think your mother may not be able to accept me and you getting the certificate. You didn't think much of it either. Sent him a word of grace. I thought that this conversation with Zheng Yanru was over. Didn't expect him to send another message. What are you doing? Well, what does that mean? Zheng Yi still wants to go deeper. Join for a while. You think for a moment. Decided to accompany Zheng Yanru to continue in-depth exchanges. Thereupon, you replied that you were preparing materials for your PhD application. It's all done now. Tomorrow, I will go to Shinda to hand in the materials. Soon Zheng Yi's news came. It's pretty impressive. That's it, you pout. On the other side, Zheng Yanru put down her phone. If Yu Xiaocheng is not Sister Chu Fang's son, I won't feel so much guilt myself. The next day you come to Shenzhen University. Finish the work related to doctoral registration. I went straight home. You write your plan at home. The phone that was on the side rang suddenly. Glanced at the caller. It was Zheng Yanru. I'm at the gate of your community. You can't help but be stunned. Entrance to the community. Why did justice come to me all of a sudden? Zheng Yanru replied. Your mom is a bit busy today. I'll take you to dinner. Hurry up and get out. Zheng Yanru began to urge. After hanging up the phone, you simply cleaned it up. He hurried out of the house. To the entrance of the complex. I saw it not far away. There was a Porsche Paramila parked. When you get in the car, you buckle up on one side. He asked. Justice has just gotten off work. Well, that's right. Then gently press the throttle. The two did not speak along the way. There was silence with each other. I thought I was going to a restaurant in a shopping mall. As a result, the car drove on. You notice something is wrong. This road seems to go to his house. What the situation? Didn't you take me to dinner? How did he take me to his house? Do you doubt that he himself is the bread of his mouth? You sit on the sidelines. Said cautiously. This road seems to be going to your house. Didn't we go to eat? How to get to your house? Zheng Yanru said lightly. I cook my own food. He also cooks. How did I not know before? You frowned. Looked at Zheng Yanru, who was driving. There is so in my heart. A hint of jealousy. I'm afraid I'll be poisoned by him. Thinking about it, he asked cautiously. Zheng Yimin really knows how to cook. How I don't know. Can you eat it? Zheng Yanru skimmed. Replied with a blank face. Your mom has eaten my cooking. Oh, that's fine. You breathe a sigh of relief. The hanging heart was put down. You don't seem to have confidence in me. Doesn't think a woman like me. It should be that there is no division between grains. Zheng Yanru said softly. I've been very independent since I was a kid. I can do a lot of things at home. I don't just make money. I'm so much better than you think. You laugh and boast. Yes, it's my family's justice, that's really powerful. That guy is awesome. It was a lot of noise. Firecrackers rang out. Red flags. A sea of people. Whoever marries you as a daughter-in-law. The ancestral grave is going to smoke. No, it shouldn't be all fried. Little men are quite good at coaxing women. Zheng Yanru pursed his lips. There was a slight smile between his eyebrows. Haven't you already married me? Ask your mother if the ancestral grave has been blown up. He'll go home and ask him. You smile awkwardly and bewildered. For a moment, the atmosphere in the car was silent again. For just their own vows. Zheng Yanru is even more embarrassed than Yu Xiaocheng. I've been trying to avoid it. As a result, he put this matter on the table. Biting his lip. Muttered. What do you like to eat? You shrugged. Said absent-mindedly. I'm not a picky eater. Zheng Yanru responded. Continue to drive your own car. After a long time, you came to Zheng Yanru's house. A large flat floor of more than 200 square meters. The decoration is also extremely luxurious. It's just a bit deserted. It gives a feeling of emptiness. You sit casually. He'll go to the kitchen and cook for you. Zheng Yanru dropped a sentence. He walked into the kitchen alone. You're sitting on the couch. Bored playing with himself. Own mobile phone. Then he turned his head and looked in the direction of the kitchen. I saw Zheng Yanru wearing an apron. Hold a kitchen knife in your hand. Skillfully chopping vegetables. The movement was full of power and grace. I know how to cook. You're a little shocked. I never expected that. The high-flying cold female president can actually cook. Generally, this kind of woman is not divided into grains. But then again, Zheng Yi was simply perfect. It's completely worthy of the hall. The best woman who can get off the kitchen. Wrong. It should be the best mature woman. You think about it. He got up and went to the kitchen. Zheng Yanru, who was chopping vegetables, said. Zheng Yi is here to give you a hand. Before he could agree, he snatched the kitchen knife from his hand. Quickly sliced the greens on the cutting board. Zheng Yanru looked at you quietly. He talked slightly, but he didn't speak. Then he told him to use the knife safely. Then he came to the stove and prepared to stir-fry. Xiao Cheng, in the cabinet next to you. Help me get the cumin powder and chopped parsley. Okay, Journey. Hurry up and get this dish out. By the way, help me wash the pot. Best friend Xiao Cheng. Prepare the dishes and chopsticks. Wait until I'm done frying this dish. We'll be able to eat. Received with the tacit cooperation of the two. 4 dishes and 1 soup soon appeared on the table. At this time, Zheng Yanru, who took off her apron, brought a bottle of red wine. Take a stroll and sit in your seat. Do you drink? You nodded. Let's do it, and then be. I saw the goblet that was about to overflow. He handed it to his hand. So much for me. I can't drink enough. You said bitterly. This wine is not intoxicating. Zheng Yanru replied lightly. Picked up chopsticks and ate a bite of food. You see that Zheng Yanru didn't pour wine for himself. Asked suspiciously. Don't you drink it myself? I'm going to drive you back. Zheng Yanru said casually. He continued to eat the dishes on the table. I am speechless for this reason. You also pick up chopsticks. Pick up the eggplant and put it in your mouth. And then the next second was conquered by the taste. Unexpectedly. The pretty rich woman around me has such good cooking skills. Tuk is simply delicious. You look at Zheng Yanru with a surprised face. Zheng Yi. Your cooking skills are comparable to those of a 5-star hotel. Then you eat a little more. Zheng Yanru pursed her lips. He muttered again. It's a good wine. You drink more, too. You have to eat a lot of food. Gulp down. Lost himself in the rich woman's wine and meat. A dinner down. The dishes on the table are almost finished. Including that bottle of red wine, which is worth a lot of money. Zheng Yanru pulled out a tissue. Elegantly rubbing the corners of his mouth. Subsequently. Looked at Yu Xiaocheng, who was sleeping on his stomach on the side. The plump red lips raised a shallow arc slightly. But soon a faint sadness flashed between his eyebrows. What to do? She is drunk like this. How can I send her back? Or let her sleep with me? Just when Zheng Yanru hesitated. A cell phone rings at the dining table. It's your phone ringing. The probe looked. It shows that it is a call from your best friend. She didn't pick it up. The result rang again. Zheng Yanru still didn't answer. The next second, her phone rang. This time she had to take it. Xiaoru, do you know where my son has gone? The prescription on the phone said angrily. This stinky boy. I called him twice. As a result, none of them were answered. I didn't see anyone at home. Zheng Yanru looked at you who were drunk to death. Pursed her lips. Muttered to himself, maybe something was happening temporarily. I didn't have my phone with me. Sister Xiaocheng is 24 years old. Also has its own social circle. Don't worry too much. The prescription snorted coldly. Must be fooling around with some woman. Said seriously again. Xiaoru, you may not know yet. Someone sent him a WeChat message yesterday. And then also deliberately. Avoiding me, I guess the other party must be a woman. At this time, Zheng Yanru bit her lip tightly. His face was full of guilt and helplessness that he had no place to embarrass himself. Said secretly. The woman who sent WeChat to your son yesterday was me. The woman who is fooling around with your son today. It was me, too, and he bit his lip tightly. Zizi said with a whine. Sister. You were still looking forward to Xiaocheng finding you a daughter-in-law yesterday. Why are you not happy now? Prescription sighed. The main thing is that I don't know what the other party looks like. In case it's a messy girl. What to do? Xiaoru, you can find a time to help me ask her. She listens to you. He'll definitely tell you. Zheng Yanru turned her head to look at you, who had died the most. Replied helplessly. Let him tell you about this kind of thing. The prescription grumbled angrily. If only he could tell me. Zheng Yanru pursed her lips. Comforted calmly. The child has grown up. It's normal to have your own mind. I think, sister. All you need to do now is be calm. When the time comes. Little Orange will tell you naturally. The prescription on the phone sighed deeply. Okay. He'll listen to you. After a pause. And then he said, do you have time now? Why don't you go shopping together? Now. Zheng Yanru looked at you drunk on the side again. He opened his mouth. Just wanted to talk. Suddenly I was interrupted by my best friend. Or he'll come to your house for a meeting. Hearing these words from my best friend. Zheng Yanru was so frightened that she trembled. Hurriedly said hi. Let's go shopping together. I haven't been shopping in a long time. That's going to the Starry Sky Mall last time. Hang up. Zheng Yanru let out a long breath. But soon there was a muttering again. What to do with this handsome young lad? You can't let him lie on his stomach like this. After thinking about it, it was decided to help him to the couch first. Wait until you get back and then make plans. Little Orange. Wake up quickly. Auntie helps you to lie down on the couch for a while. young.You tries to wake up you who are drunk to death. As a result, it was pushed. But nothing happened. After a moment's hesitation, he slowly crouched down. Put one of your arms around your shoulder. Lifted you up from your chair. Why is it so heavy? But he's pretty sturdy. Zheng Yan blushed with shame. Slowly help you to the couch. Then I thoughtfully found a blanket from the bedroom. Cover it for you. After everything is done. His eyes couldn't help but look at his best friend's son who was lying down. Suddenly, there was an indescribable emotion. Erupting in the depths of my heart. I don't usually pay much attention to it. Now I just looked at him quietly. It turns out that the town is so handsome. Think about it. He did fit his criteria for a mate. Tall, handsome, intelligent, and gentle. And it's quite coaxing. It can also make people laugh from time to time. It's a pity that he is Sister Fangfang's own son. If you and Sister Fangfang are not in a mother-son relationship, maybe I might try with you. And Yu Yenru couldn't help but stretch out his hand. Gently caress your face. But it didn't take a few seconds. He shuddered. He pulled his jade hand back. His face was already red. What was I doing? How would you touch his face? For what just happened? Zheng Yanru didn't know what kind of reason to use. Go explain maybe. Maybe it's a reminder that it's time to find a man. Soon after, in a large shopping mall, the prescription held the arm of her best friend Zheng Yanru. The two of them were shopping aimlessly. Xiaoru, you said. And the girl who is the object of the journey. What kind of person will he be? Zheng Yanru flattened her mouth. I don't know, sister. What does your daughter-in-law look like? Chu Fang smiled slightly. Of course, it's based on you. And the stinky boy thinks so too. You probably don't know. Ching Cheng likes you very much. Now there's a word that doesn't call you anything. You are the goddess of Ching Cheng. If you change it to before. Zheng Yanru smiled and passed. But now after hearing these words from my best friend, there was an inexplicable feeling in my heart. No wonder she would say something like that. I used to quibble that I was afraid that I would be in a hurry to get married. Do irrational things. It turned out to be his inner monologue. What a little badass. Zhenjianru muttered. I'm a cold character. Will he like it? Of course. Prescription tightens the best friend's arm. Said mysteriously. I'll tell you. Ching Cheng has a little bit of a ladylike complex. In other words, I just like older than him. And also very busty woman. Is it Zheng Yanru? Ching raised willow eyebrows. Said leisurely. Sister, you have so many mature women in the beauty salon. Introduce one to him. The prescription rolled his eyes. Said angrily. What nonsense. Those women were the same age as me. And most of them are married. After speaking, he reached out and gently pinched his best friend's waist. When did Xiaoru learn badly? You dare to make fun of me? No, no. Zheng Yanru replied embarrassedly. It's you who said it yourself. Little Orange has a ladylike complex. I just thought. It's not good that your salon has so many lady customers. You're a little girl. I didn't expect to get the marriage certificate. It's starting to go bad. The prescription poked her best friend's waist. Pretending to be angry. They all started to tease me. I see if you dare in the future. Don't you dare. The sisters frolicked like this. Until you pass a shop that sells men's jackets. Walk in and take a look. The prescription dragged his girlfriend in. Zheng Yanru was a little reluctant. What's so nice about the place where men's jackets are sold? The prescription replied. Oops, hey, they'll buy it for my son. You buy it for your husband. Is it just together? In the end, Zheng Yanru was dragged in. After a long time, when the two of them came out of this store, each of them carried a bag in his hand. The prescription asks if it's going home or shopping. Zheng Yanru pursed her lips. I plan to go back. There's still a little business to attend to tomorrow. Two sisters in the parking lot. Drive your own vehicle home separately. While waiting for the red light, Zheng Yanru looked at the shopping bag that was thrown in the passenger seat. I wondered what to do. Give it to Xiao Cheng. That's not to tell Sister Fang Fang. My husband is his son. Suddenly, Zheng Yan had an idea. A brilliant idea flashed through my mind.